Good morning.
Good morning, Ronnie. Good morning. Please open Parashat Shoftim. We just read it. Look at again on page 1026, which is Perek Yud Zayin, Pasuk Chet. We are going to learn the Pesukim to understand the general topic. Then we're going to see how the Rambam takes every phrase in the Pesukim and learns from it. Pasuk Chet. Ki yipale mimcha davar b'mishpat. Yipale, pele, a matter of judgment, you see the English translation, is in dispute. Bein dam ledam, questions that has to do with blood. Bein din ledin, this is choshev mishpat. Bein nega lenega, taharot. Divrei rivut bisharecha. Different types of arguments that really go to court. Yes. Now, in the court itself, in the Sanhedrin themselves, the Kamta ve'alita el hamakom asher yivchar Hashem Elokecha bo. It means normally, you have an argument in the court, they make a decision. So the entire court of 23 have to come to Yerushalayim. Ubata el HaKohanim, look on page 1026. Ubata el HaKohanim HaLeviim. The Rambam in Hilchot Sanhedrin is teaching us that some members of the Sanhedrin should be Kohanim. אלא השופט אשר יהיה בימים ההם. מה זה בימים ההם?
Extra words.
Even though, the judges are not as big as it was 200 years ago, אשר יהיה בימים ההם ודרשת ויגידו לך על דבר המשפט. So again, you have a dispute in the local court, and they cannot come to terms. They come to Yerushalayim. In Beit HaMikdash, you have 3 courts, 2 of 23, and then the 1 of 71. So first they approach the court of 23 situated in the area of Beit HaMikdash. If they cannot come to a decision, they all go to the 71.
So, Rabbi, why were there 23? Just to have more people?
I didn't realize that each one of these 2 is a potential candidate to go to 71.
No, I'm saying did that court specialize in different cases, or just to have 2 because of the amount of people? I mean, it was just
the amount of people.
So you're saying the Yipaleh is for a court of 23?
Yeah.
So what would the difference be between a court of 23 in Beitar than a court of 23 in Yerushalayim?
The fact that they were situated in Beit HaMikdash, in a minute you'll see in the Rambam. I'm not talking about court of 23 in Yerushalayim and Sharei Chesed. I'm talking about in Beit HaMikdash. In a minute you'll see in the Rambam. In a minute.
Okay.
So why should I put my dispute to a lower court who is not so qualified?
Because the other court will say, good morning, Mr. Chief. You have a local court.
They won't take your case.
But there is no appeal. If they do a wrong judgment, I cannot appeal to the higher court, right?
American.
Huh?
You got Americanized. I can't appeal. That's it. They have a system.
Yeah. In the system that we have,
They give
you
an
know
answer
that the judges are Democrats. Most likely this, so that this is a code, this is a system. We elect people we want to sing the song we say. There's no difference between a judge here and a judge here. But the Torah says this is our topic now. ועשית על פי הדבר אשר יגידו לך מן המקום ההוא. Now, this is the example I gave you. The court from Tzfat has to accept the decision of the court in Yerushalayim, or me and you are bounded by any decision of the Court of 71, מן המקום ההוא אשר יבחר השם. Yeah? The reason why we accept what they say, Joseph says, I cannot appeal. המקום אשר יבחר השם, ושמרת לעשות ככל אשר יורוך. In a minute you will see how the Rambam learns out the halacha from each phrase of the pasuk. Now the Torah continues. על פי התורה אשר יורוך ועל המשפט אשר יורו לך תעשה. So let's take a specific case. In the court in Tzfat, there is a dispute among the judges. And one judge strongly presents his case and is not accepting it. Now they came to Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim makes a decision. Everyone must accept it. לא תסור מן הדבר אשר יגידו לך. If you have the article, we turn the page, ימין ושמאל. Okay, this is big machloket. What is the meaning of this particular phrase? For our content, we're not going into it now. Now here's this. This judge that in Tzfat was strongly, and he was a scholar, a serious scholar. He heard already the decision of the big court. He's coming back to Tzfat, and he continues to preach and tell people to do the way he thought.
He didn't
Not accepting the authority. והאיש אשר יעשה בזדון, לבלתי שמוע אל הכהן העומד לשרת שם את השם אלוקיך. Again, the man comes back to Tzfat when he's teaching a class like we are learning now. You can say, I held and I still hold.
Right, that's your opinion.
But I'm right. But הלכה למעשה, don't listen to me.
Is that person a shofet?
He's a judge. He was a judge in Tzfat.
Why did they change the word from shofet to ish? Why don't they say that same shofet that he goes? It's
In a second.
Okay.
So again,
Rabbi, what you said
again, if he's saying, we had a very big dispute on that. But you went to Yerushalayim, and I'm telling you to do not like me, but let me tell you my opinion anyway, but don't follow it. This is fine.
But
if he continues telling people to do what he held, have a second.
But we have cases in
Umet
the
ha'ish hahu, we have to kill him. I mean, you have to execute him. Umet ha'ish hahu, ubi'ar ta'ara mi'Yisrael. We've seen a Rambam, we can take 2 weeks. Yeah,
we have cases in the Gemara where if a rabbi was the rabbi of a city, he's allowed to hold, even if it's against the other rabbis and accepted halacha, he can hold that in his city. So what's this case that the shofet?
And the answer is it's Bedin HaGadol in Yerushalayim. Open Rambam Ilchot Mamrim. Rambam Sefer Shoftim Ilchot Mamrim.
Rabbi, these cases are only halachic or monetary matters, they're not criminal matters?
Any type of argument. Normally, yes. It's not one of the little nonsense cases we have, yes?
How do you explain that there is no overseeing of the lower court? They may be not so learned and they can keep on making wrong judgments. How come that you don't have the appeal things to?
Let me ask you a question. Ask Jeffrey. Jeffrey is a lawyer. Every time you have a case, you have this judge, I'm gone. Really? Why? Because of his beard, or because of his size, or because of his car?
His views.
No one ever takes any judge in this country or in Europe serious because they are human. However, we hope that they are following more or less. Everyone knows that they do whatever you want. Every day you can hear the Supreme Court is arguing with the president. And the president does with illegal aliens, he's following the law. Yeah? And they present a little girl from Venezuela. Hundreds of thousands of people here illegal, and he's just answer is they hate the president. You know? This is the way the system works. When he goes in the Torah, it's the exact opposite. You don't vote by the size, by the oratory, by the looks, only A, Yirat Shamayim, B, knowledge of Torah. This is
And not everybody has got to get Shamayim. There are some small cities that where the court
good,
is
good,
proven.
good. So
So-
this is why these arguments pop up. I think maybe one of them is a bigger. Before the state of Israel was created, every Friday, all the real Gedolim of Yerushalayim, real again, not by size, not by publicity, not by social media. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Tzion Abba Shaul, Rabbi Eliashiv, used to come to discuss serious matters. Later, when Rav Herzog was the chief rabbi, this formed the legal rabbinic Supreme Court. For no election, you, Rabbi Yashiv, come, Rabbi come, Rabbi Tzion. So in 5 years, they know everything in the fingertips. And if you know the history of the people and you visited the house, you saw that there are people that are removed from our.
On the higher level.
Let's go to the Rambam. We could talk about it from the day to tomorrow.
What you're saying is very interesting. There used to be the chief rabbi, you had to be a dayan first
Right.
on the court. Up until Hacham Yitzhak Yosef was the first one who was not a dayan that became the chief rabbi. It used to be you had to be a chief rabbi first, a dayan, and then they would.
Right.
That's how important the dayan is.
Right. No, because the practicality, you know, you
Like you said, you're making major decisions.
Rabbi Yosef was a dayan in Petach Tikva. Then he became a Rosh Beidin in Petach Tikva. Then he became the chief rabbi of Tel Aviv.
Right.
And from that, most of the times, for years and years, till recently, you had to be a chief rabbi of Tel Aviv or a major
Right,
city
right,
in order
before.
to be a candidate. But it's an election. The minute you are elected, you have a problem. Let's go to the Rambam. Look at Perek Aleph. Rambam says in Hilchot Mamrim Perek Aleph, בית הדין הגדול שבירושלים הם עיקר תורה שבעל פה. הלכות ממרים, פרק א'.
Here, take this. Give it to me. Here, take this one.
Why wouldn't they put it in Sanhedrin? Why do they? I know why they.
Somebody. You know,
Because basically it's mamre.
I know. I understand, but it's
Where do you think הלכות בן סורר ומורה הריד? Where do you think? Anyway, הם עיקר תורה שבעל פה. והם עמודי ההוראה, they are pillars, ומהם חוק ומשפט יוצא לכל ישראל. ועליהם הבטיחה התורה, שנאמר, רמב"ם is quoting the pasuk from this week's parasha. על פי התורה אשר יורוך, ועל המשפט, וכל המאמין במשה רבינו ובתורתו. If you believe, every time you put your finger בזאת, if you believe in the Torah, כל המאמין, חייב לסמוך על מעשי הדת ולהישען עליהם. Here, David, is a question from high school. What is the job of the Supreme Court of the United States? Give me one phrase. Remember, not what is the Supreme Court?
To apply the Constitution.
To interpret.
To interpret.
A bit different. Yeah. So how come we have always a machloket in the Supreme Court?
I heard it in Gemara also.
No, Gemara is only because from generation to generation it was Torah Sheba'al Peh. So it got in the Constitution. We have the document that they originally wrote.
This is why it's so important
different.
to every president to elect his people to the Supreme Court, which means it's basically you singing the music that I elected before. Here is the executive verse. Yeah?
But we have to give them a little credit. At least
I'm not-
no. At least they made it a lifetime appointment. So once you elect them, they're not, at least they're not. You can't fire them. So they're not beholden to you after you.
If you remember many years
At least
ago,
they did something smart.
many years ago, there was Judge Bork.
Oh, Robert Bork. Oh, they killed him in the 80s. Oh, Ronald Reagan.
Everyone agrees that he's the most brilliant scholar in the country. He cannot be elected because he's not singing our song.
You know why, Robert? Because they didn't have Trump as president. He
No.
would
No, they were,
put your head down
they were
sometimes.
afraid of him. They were
I want to clarify Jimmy's expression. He says, I want to clarify Jimmy's expression. He said you can't fire them yet.
Yeah.
Trump will find a way to do it.
Look at הלכה ב' כל מי שאינו עושה כהוראתם, if you remember, now we're talking about the seven.
Remember, you have care, just out of curiosity, it says over here, Behora.
I know, this is the difference between.
I'm just wondering, I know that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah. See, Jimmy, you have also allowed בהוראתם, כל מי שאינו עושה כהוראתם, עובר בלא תעשה.
I think care is more accurate,
Of course.
right? Not Behora.
שנאמר, לא תעשו מכל הדבר שיגידו לך, ימין ושמאל. We just read it, yes?
Yeah.
We must follow what they say. ואין לוקים עליו זה. Normally, if you don't follow a לא תעשה, you get thrown out. See, there's no מלכות. מפני שניתן להזהרת מיתת בית דין. Theoretically, if you don't follow, you might be executed, as we looked in the Chumash a minute ago. שכל חכם שמורה על דבריהם, any judge,
They had to be one also, right?
obviously, מיתתו בחלק. Here we just read, every pasuk that we read, here's the Rambam. והאיש אשר יעשה בזדון. Okay, up till here it's very easy because it's, listen to the Rambam good.
So Rabbi, we know there's no appeal. So that means, let's say a guy goes to the court of three. So the court of three has to say, we can't, this is beyond us. Then he goes to the court of 23. And if the court of 23 also can't come to a conclusion, that's how you get to the 71, correct? It's not up to you. They have to send you to the next court.
See, when the British government approached, remember, the state of Israel didn't exist yet, approached Rav Kook, they want the rabbis, Rav Kook, to set up a system,
Court system.
very easy. But the condition was you must have an appeal court. It doesn't exist in Jewish law.
Right.
And the British said they would never allow to have a system, a rabbinic court system, unless you have an appeal court, like you claimed before. Okay, so at that time there was no choice because unfortunately there was no choice means because the government did not allow it. Anyway, so today, if you go to a court in Yerushalayim, right, they write a verdict and they write, we're not coming to a final verdict unless the Supreme Court is agreeing with it, which means that they can never turn over a psak. They're saying, we're not taking your position. Every psak halacha of a court, a real rabbinic court, goes up because the rabbis at the end say, this is our opinion, but we're not making the final decision until it was approved.
By the higher.
So which means they're leaving you room
For appeal.
so many tshuvot. You can see Chavavada writes, we got this in this case that was the beginning of Yerushalayim said so and so, but they came to us, and that's how you reviews it. Yeah? Otherwise, if you look at the
You're
Rambam,
talking about halachic decisions.
Yeah,
You're not talking about mundane. You're talking about halachic.
This is
The difference between like the Beit Din that people go to and the court system.
The rabbis are a rabbinical
Right, like
court.
if you, we're going to taking the person to the Beit Din.
when you
Is that
I don't think
You
they
go to a
they deal with monetary matters, right, Rabbi?
no, normally it's not monetary.
It's not monetary. Yes, it's not.
Normally
usually
it's not. ואחד,
It's halachic.
look carefully now. ואחד דברים, Rambam says,
Shlamdu.
אחד דברים שלמדו אותם מפי השמועה שהם תורה שבעל פה. For instance, a fellow comes and for the sake of argument says tefillin should be round. Tefillin should not be black. It's much nicer if you make it silver. This is it. We accepted it from the previous generations. One of the 10 halacha Moshe Sinai by tefillin is square black. Fine. והם תורה שבעל פה, ואחד דברים שלמדו מפי דעתם, ואחד מן הדברים שהתורה נדרשת בהם. Many halachot that we learn in the Gemara, you learn either קל וחומר או גזירה שווה או היקש. Yes, this is מן התורה. This is very easy. ונראה בעיניהם שדבר זה כך ופעם. ואחד דברים, זה חידוש של הרמב"ם, שעשאום סייג לתורה, ולפי מה שהשעה צריכה. Now many הלכות, most of the halachot that apply to us today fall into this category. Right? I cannot drink wine that is definitely not produced by priests, by touched by goyim, because Chachamim made a gzera. Says the Rambam in the Torah, I'm obligated to accept this takana.
Oh, from the
Gzeirot.
so they have the rabbis have the power
Correct.
of the Torah.
It says openly now, gezerot. Right? We cannot pick up a muktzeh on Shabbat. You can touch it, don't pick it up. This is a gzera. Takanot, netilat yadayim. Netilat yadayim before the meal is takanat shlomo. It's only the Rabbanan. ומנהגות, too many מנהגות בדעה.
Habid velo barich.
Correct. correct. And הושענא רבה, to take the רבה מנהגות, כל אחד ואחד מאלו השלושה דברים, so remember, you have דברים שהם קיבלו, י"ג מידות, then תקנות, מנהגות, הן גזירות, מצוות עשה לשמוע להם, והעובר על כל אחד מהם, עובר ולא תעשה. Okay, you know that this is the famous מחלוקת, the Rambam and the Ramban. Ramban in ספר המצוות says, if I'm not taking לולב על חול המועד, according to the Rambam, I'm עובר על איסור דאורייתא.
And during the why? I thought only in the Mikdash.
חול המועד, חול המועד. חול המועד זה תקנה רבי יוחנן.
Right.
So the Rambam says, you are מחויב מן התורה to follow רבי יוחנן.
Any תקנת חכם.
No, I just use it as an example. הרי הוא אומר, the Rambam again is quoting the פסוקים.
And the Ramban Mehila says what?
Ramban says it's the Rabbanan. And of course you understand that all the Rishonim are asking the Rambam, how come we have a class, ספק דרבנן לכולם? If I'm מחויב מן התורה to follow what the rabbis told me to do, see if I have a ספק, I ate only one slice of bread. I'm not sure if I said ברכת המזון or not, I don't have to do it. Why? The rabbis told me to say ברכת המזון if you're not full. It's a famous question of the Rambam. So the Rashbat from Morocco, 700 years ago says that when the rabbis established the dinim de Rabbanan, this is the way it was established.
Safek de Rabbanan lekula.
If you have a safek, don't do it.
They established
It's not that we told you to do it and this is it. They said if you know.
That's how he answers Harambam.
It
It finished, gone. By the way, even then for the next 1,000 years, he took care of the problem.
But this is exactly what he said.
Very interesting. No, but there's a mahloket on the concept of Safek Rabbanan lekula. Is that a rabbinic or the
you mean Safek d'oraita lechumra?
Yeah.
Lechumra min haTorah.
Oh yeah, so that's a whole mahloket on a mahloket already.
Rashba, look further.
Rabbi Prague, I decide that I don't want to light Hanukkah candles. Am I over on a Doraisa or am I?
According to the Rambam, you're over on the Doraita. According to the Ramban, you're over on the Rabbanan.
And what's the nafkamina?
Oh, the nafkamina is after 120 years.
Okay. That's all I wanted to hear. Okay.
No, but Rabbi, that would be a difference in hakra'ah. According to Harambam, if you're going to warn somebody, by the way, if you're not lighting candles, you're over on a rabbinic.
He's saying if you want to give this, see the problem is exactly through the generation of history, the way Judaism was started to chop it. Only the Rabbanan. Rambam took care of it. And the Baga, it's only the Rabbanan.
But the hatra'ah has to be different.
Yeah. It's not half Malkot. Anyway, look.
But it's not us, Rabbi. I remember Hacham Yitzhak Yosef was here. He says, as a dayan, when you have a halachic question, the first thing a rabbi has to say is it the oraita or the rabbanan?
Right.
Because if it's the oraita, we have very little leeway. If it's the rabbanan, we have more. So
But but there's,
והעובר, second, והעובר על כל אחד מהם עובר בלא תעשה, we
But
just
the
read
people
it.
take the.
Look now at the Rambam.
Law lightly.
Now look a second at the Rambam takes the pasuk that we read. Look. הרי הוא אומר, if you go back to the pasuk a second, please go back to 10:26. Look at pasuk י"א. על פי התורה אשר יורוך. It's one category. ועל המשפט שיאמרו לך תעשה, second category, לא תאסור מן הדבר. Look at the Rambam now, the Rambam says, הרי הוא אומר, על פי התורה אשר יורוך, אלו התקנות והגזרות והמנהגות שיאמרו בהם לרבים כדי לחזק הדעת ולתקן העולם. According to the Rambam, התורה אשר יורוך, this is the Torah that they made up, are all the quote unquote restrictions, like מוקצה, like נטילת ידיים, like הלל על ראש חודש, ועל המשפט, משפט אשר יאמרו, אילו דברים שילמדו אותם מן הדין, אחת מן המידות שהתורה נדרשת בהם. המשפט...
That's the Oraita already.
No,
That's one of the 13.
No, but the Rambam is putting it into the... מכל הדבר אשר יגידו לך, remember, יגידו לך, they only tell you over, because we did not invent it, this is the way we accepted
it from the before.
You see, here the Rambam puts all the three in this pasuk. Now, תקשיבו טוב עכשיו זה
No, Rabbi, I would just say, if I was at that, it should be first what you learn. The 13 principles are the Oraita. The other ones are Minhagim, so the Pasuk put the Minhagim and the Takanot before
because if
the...
you look carefully, you see that Judaism became non-Judaism in other denominations because they were mezalzel in that. Everyone more or less says Shabbat, but Shabbat doesn't mean Lametet Avot Malachot. It's a concept of Shabbat.
Rabbi Prague,
Yes.
if you decided that you don't like the concept of Yom Tov Sheni Shel Galiyot, what is that? Is that what there are three? He's making three categories here.
This is the first one. First.
But again, in the way we live in our time, 2025, it really doesn't matter if you're in category 1, 2, or 3.
The bottom line is, but I'm just telling you, this is in Jewish history. Every time a new concept came up, this is where it became okay. But the minute how many kids in school, who did they hear it from the father? That is Amaharetz min Torah or the Rabbanan? The father.
You always told us if they follow the father more than they.
No, but you have to give credit. By Hasidim and Sfaradim, whatever my family's custom is, there is a tremendous value to it. But of course, you can see the other side.
But everything has two sides.
Okay. But I'm telling you, for the long.
But I'm going to tell you one big difference that I see, and I say this all the time. In the old country, there's how many opinions? You could open books all day long. Right. The rabbis, when they taught, they gave what the halacha was. And they didn't tell you, oh, but there's another opinion. Over here in America, they teach you 13 opinions. You know, the kid walks out of the class. Well, what am I supposed to do now?
What he says.
No, there's a big problem. Over there, they told you, this is the halacha. And later, after you accepted it, oh, this is the Ben Ish Hai, this is Hacham Ovadia, this is whoever
they... Rabbis today have to be careful, right? Because if you are from a Lebanese shul, many people used to say Baruch Hu Baruch Shmo Elu by Kiddush.
Yes.
And it's correct.
I think the Hiddah says
so this is why every rabbi that teaches, now often today, it's in Flatbush, I used to say, Rabbi, but our custom. Who are you? From Aram Shobah, from Haleb, or from Lebanon? You have to ask. And he's right, but kids are very confused. Rabbi Reisman has a very practical example. A woman calls him up on the phone, Rabbi, this and this happened in my kitchen. You know what it is? The rabbi says to you on the phone, the Rama, Ashkenazi, the Rama says it's good, Tov Lachmir. Rabbi, Yerusha, says, Rabbi, what should I do? You tell him it's Tov. Yes,
Just
mutar
tell
or
me your
asur.
bottom line for me.
Anyway, bottom line, after he is using it always as an example, says, Blaney, we never met. I don't know your house. I don't know.
I don't know.
She's sending her husband. And again, the rabbi explains to him, the Rama is saying, if you ask me kosher or not kosher, it's kosher. But the Rama is suggesting.
That's why you really should call a rabbi that knows you. That's the difference.
This is why a real rabbi is not a phone rabbi. The phone rabbi is for emergencies.
What about texting?
Not-
Texting.
It's good for Yalavi Avo.
For 911. You know how many times, Joseph, how many times, if you know the guy and you see, especially in this community, but it's in a million other places.
You know, before Chamaruch, Alav Shalom, two people could ask him the same question and get different answers because he knew where each person was coming from.
Every real rabbi, but this is what Jimmy is saying. A rabbi is a man that knows the community.
Knows his
I
level.
know your family, I know your.
Knows what you could handle also. Knows what.
Yeah.
But the advantage of knowing different things is that people, they don't look down on people because you think that this halacha, but
He's
there are
right.
100 opinions. So
Joseph,
you respect more the people.
Joseph is right.
That's a problem today.
Joseph is right. You can never
The
look
person
down
does what
on
his
a
rabbi
person
told
down.
him. His friend comes to him, he does your Mahalal Shabbat.
Yeah.
The word rabbi is a big word.
He's right, he's right,
That's
he's
another
right,
problem.
he's right.
Larry, I can't deal with all the problems in one half-hour class.
Well, it's really true. Everybody today it's a rabbi, everybody's a rabbi, but there are different levels maybe of rabbis. I don't know.
They use the term rabbi too loosely. That's the problem. Happened 2 weeks ago in Deal. They announced the Eruv around the shul is down. So they have usually they do a kiddush outside, and Rabbi Nahum holds by the Eruv. He's the rabbi that he holds by the Eruv. So they made the Eruv.
Wait, the Eruv in the city or the Eruv in the lawn?
No,
Which
he
Eruv?
holds by the Eruv around Deal.
Yeah, oh.
But the Eruv around the shul was down. So
he
they
didn't
made
do
an
it outside.
announcement. We're going to do the kiddush inside, not to have any problems.
Yeah.
I went to him. He says, I don't understand. You told me the Eruv is good? He said, yes. He said, so why am I doing it inside? You're the rabbi. Tells him, I don't need people calling me at Mahalok, and I hold the Eruv is good. And I would do the kiddush outside. But like you said, this one says this one says that. So he said, you know what, just do it inside, don't leave me alone. I think it's a perfect example. They don't want to deal with
And
it.
then people are gonna think that this is the way.
I understand, but they don't want to deal
But
with it.
you have no idea of some people in the.
But who in the old days, I wonder, who would get up and contradict a rabbi?
Um,
Today, it's open.
Everybody.
It's everybody's a genius. Everybody could say what they want. I guarantee in Brisk, no one's, and maybe they did, but
Never ever.
oh, what you're talking different.
Exactly the
Let,
point.
let me share with you a story. When they started Eruv and deal, I went to Rabbi Dweck. I said, Rabbi, I'm not carrying now on Shabbat. Now that they gave their room, could I carry? He says, no. He says, you're not carrying. This is only designed for people already carrying, and they need some kind of a heted to cover them.
Ronnie, I'm going to give you a better one. We go
Yeah.
to my mother and deal Friday nights. I don't use the Eruv, but the rabbi said it's good. I hold by it. So we go Friday night. My kids, they don't push. So
Yeah.
who puts the kids home? Me, my wife, or my son Victor, the single one. I said, so we became Shabbat Goyim.
Yeah, there you go.
But you don't know how many people use the
You
Eruv.
have no idea, but
You know what I'm saying, Rabbi? So my kids, my married kids, they don't push.
Who knew you'd be a Shabbos goy?
Kids are confused.
No, but what are you going to tell them, Mike? Okay, they're married.
You're allowed.
I tell them they're married. Okay, they have to do what their husbands, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying.
Like this, again,
Joseph, nobody's more forceful than I
because
am.
of the
Okay, but it's you have to pick
because
it
of
up.
the diversity of the
But yeah, how many
community,
people
because
started
different.
having with the Eruv?
Anyway,
Rabbi Prague, in your time, you would follow exactly what your father, may rest in peace,
of
said.
course.
Today, all right, my father says, my rabbi says different. It's a hefka. You're not going to solve it during this class.
A good story for the end of the day. Listen. Day before Bdikat Hamed, someone knocks on the door from Zaman Auerbach. He opens the door, a young kid, like 15, 16. Yes. Says, can the rabbi, listen good, can the rabbi teach me how to do Bdikat Hamed? So Zaman says to him, you do exactly what your father does. But listen. Unfortunately, in this case, the kid says, I'm a Yatom, my father died this year. I have to do it. I never did it. My father did it. Shlomo Zalman said with him, "You're here 10 minutes. Exactly what to do. This is good." At the end, he says to him, "Now I'm telling you the most important halacha. Do it fast. Do it fast."
Fast.
Says why? Because when you are on the floor with the flashlight, your mother remembers your father. Why
Wow.
should you?
Wow.
What you have to do, you have to do. But why should you extend it?
Wow. That's
Wow.
that's a different level.
Mavhir.
No, you have to be on a different level to think like
He
that.
saw the flash, כך הוא אמר לו. What you have to do, you have to
It's
do.
all bigger
בדיקת-
picture.
בדיקת חמץ זה בדיקת
זה
חמץ.
גדול, that's what's גדול.
זה כל כך מבהיר, כך הוא אמר לו. אמא שלך רואה אותך על הרצפה, היא רואה את אבא שלך. עכשיו, you are your father.
No question, by the way.
You have to do what you
בלי
have to
ספק.
do. Don't try to be too long. Do what I told you, let's go.
I didn't understand Rani's thing. I wasn't carrying before the Eruv. And now that the Eruv is there, why shouldn't I carry now?
What do you need it for? The Eruv is there just if you need something. Not, what bothers me the most? I see people walking to shul with a book. We have thousands of books in shul. Why do you have to carry it? They're doing it just to show you I'm holding by the Eruv. Davka. That's craziness.
What about the bike? The bike is any better? The
Don't
bike
mix up.
is-
Hey,
it's
don't
all
mix
same.
up.
Just about expect.
Don't mix up.
I'll use Borough Park as an example. Okay, today there's no machloket, you do.
Yeah, you need to push a stroller. You need that's what it's for.
Joseph,
Wait, sorry, what do you need? Tell me what you need.
Let's say that you are pushing the
Stroller, I said that's what you
before
need.
you weren't doing it. Now the
I said push a stroller. Yeah.
No, but according to Rani's
But
example.
you see, this
he
is the
said,
topic
"Well,
now they are.
But that's they did it. By the way, the whole Eruv was mostly for strollers. The real. By the way, Rabbi
For
Nachman,
all the old people with a wheelchair,
But what's the answer for that? Like,
the
why-
answer really is, take Borough Park for example, about 16th Avenue is a very wide avenue, 13th, very wide. The machloket is, can we make any roof because this is a very wide street or not? Machloket, Shulchan Aruch. Many rabbis are saying, as Jimmy said, we have old people, we made it. But the roof is to accommodate those who are going to carry anyway. This is what he's telling you.
To accommodate
In a small-
anyway?
yeah. In other words, they shouldn't be over on the
No,
double.
they did it B'Chalal Shabbat. They carry anyway. You have to take an old man to show
But
you.
now, why should I suffer if it is allowed to push and carry?
Because you are not suffering.
The rabbi told me, okay, so let me take.
My father's father was built for a shul.
Tonight, Larry, remember, there's no class tonight. Larry.
Yeah, I remember. Just have only simchas.
Tomorrow morning on my
Also-
iPhone, as we do every Friday. Yes.
Wish the Rebbetzin a mazel tov.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's a nice, let's remember, let's not pull, let's pass. We talked about a yortzeit. It's a simcha,
Amen.
simcha.
I want to keep something in my pocket now. So
How many simchas do we have? That's
Amen. All right.
you need
This is
that's simcha. Today, people don't have.
push something. That's
Thank you.